We live in an era where every thought, every meal, every minor grievance, and every future plan is broadcast to the world. People believe that to be seen is to exist. But true power, true philosophical mastery, has always been rooted in silence. The ancient Stoics understood a fundamental truth about human psychology. The more you reveal about your inner world, the more you surrender control over it. When you share every detail of your life, you give others the tools to manipulate you, judge you, and distract you from your ultimate path. Developing a strong mind requires building an inner fortress, a citadel that no external force can easily breach. To become a true Stoic, you must learn the discipline of withholding. You must recognize that not everything belongs in the public domain. There is an immense, quiet strength in knowing things that no one else knows. The mind is a sacred space, and you must protect its borders with absolute vigilance. Today, we are going to explore 7 vital secrets that you must learn to keep entirely to yourself. We will look at how the greatest minds of the ancient world navigated these exact issues, drawing directly from their books and the historical accounts of their lives. The first secret you must guard with your life is the detail of your biggest goals and ambitions. There is a deep psychological trap waiting for you the moment you speak about your grand plans. When you tell someone about a massive project you are going to launch, a financial milestone you are going to hit, or a physical transformation you are going to achieve, your brain receives a premature spike of satisfaction. The simple act of receiving validation from another person tricks your mind into feeling as though you have already accomplished the task. You receive the reward without doing the work. This immediately drains your motivation. You will find yourself talking more and doing less. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus addressed this concept brilliantly in his teachings. He used a very simple, grounded analogy. He stated that sheep do not vomit up the grass they have eaten to show the shepherd how much they consumed. Instead, they digest their food quietly inside, and they produce wool and milk on the outside. This is exactly how you must treat your ambitions. You must consume your knowledge, feed your drive, and digest your plans in absolute silence. Do not tell the world what you are going to do. Let the world see the results of what you have already done. Produce the wool. When you look at the historical accounts, the great builders and leaders did not walk around announcing every strategic move before they made it. They operated in silence until the moment of execution. If you share your deepest ambitions with people who lack your vision, they will project their own fears and limitations onto you. They will tell you why your plan will fail. They will point out the risks. Even if they mean well, their doubts will infect your mind. You will begin to second-guess your own strategy. Keep your grandest visions locked away. Work late in the night. Refine your craft. Build your empire. And let your sudden, undeniable success be the only sound you make. The second secret you must absolutely keep to yourself concerns the details of your good deeds and charitable acts. Doing good for others is a core requirement of Stoic virtue. The philosophy teaches us to work for the common good of humanity. However, the moment you boast about a good deed, you destroy the virtue of the act. If you give money to someone in need, or if you sacrifice your time to help a friend, and then you immediately tell someone else about it, you are no longer acting out of kindness. You are acting out of ego. You have turned a noble deed into a transaction. You are trading your assistance for applause and validation. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, wrote extensively about this in his private journal, which we now call Meditations. He observed that there are 3 types of people when it comes to doing favors. The first type does a favor and immediately expects something in return. The second type does a favor, does not ask for anything in return, but secretly keeps a tally in their head, viewing the other person as being in their debt. The third type of person, according to Marcus, is the only one acting correctly. This person does a favor and then simply forgets about it. Marcus compared this person to a vine that produces grapes. The vine does not demand a medal or a round of applause after it has borne its fruit. It simply produces the grapes because that is what a vine is naturally supposed to do. Once the grapes are picked, the vine moves on to the next season. You must be like the vine. When you do something good, let the act itself be the reward. The world does not need to know about your generosity. When you keep your charity a secret, you purify your intentions. You prove to yourself that your moral compass is guided by your own character, not by the gaze of the audience. The quiet knowledge that you did the right thing when no one was watching builds a profound sense of self-respect that no public praise could ever match. The third secret you must keep hidden away is your collection of personal resentments and grudges. It is a natural human reaction to feel anger when someone betrays you, disrespects you, or attempts to harm your reputation. The immediate instinct is to complain about that person, to seek out allies, and to loudly narrate every terrible thing they have done to you. You might think that by talking about the person who wronged you, you are holding them accountable or releasing your own stress. In reality, you are doing the exact opposite. Every time you speak their name, every time you recount the story of their betrayal, you are giving them free rent inside your mind. You are keeping the wound open. The Stoics taught that we cannot control what other people do to us, but we have absolute control over how we respond. Epictetus reminded his students that it is not the event itself that causes us distress, but rather the story we tell ourselves about the event. When you constantly vocalize your grievances, you are amplifying the negative story. You are magnifying the perceived injury. Furthermore, by showing the world exactly what upsets you, you are handing your enemies a manual on how to defeat you. You are showing people exactly where your emotional triggers are located. Look at how Marcus Aurelius handled one of the greatest betrayals of his life. A trusted general and friend named Avidius Cassius started a rebellion, claiming the throne of Rome for himself. This was a treasonous act that threatened the entire empire. Most rulers would have erupted in public rage, demanding violent revenge and loudly condemning the traitor. Marcus Aurelius did not do this. He handled the situation with quiet, terrifying competence. He did not let the betrayal destroy his emotional baseline. He stated that the best revenge is simply to be unlike the person who performed the injury. He kept his personal feelings of disappointment to himself and focused solely on the practical steps required to restore order. When you drop your resentments and refuse to vocalize your grudges, you starve your enemies of the attention they crave. You take away their power over your emotional state. The fourth secret you must fiercely protect involves the specifics of your spiritual beliefs, your philosophical practices, and your personal self-improvement routines. There is a common trap that occurs when someone discovers a powerful philosophy like Stoicism or starts a new disciplined routine. The improvements they feel in their own life are so profound that they suddenly want to convert everyone around them. They start lecturing their friends about self-discipline. They start quoting philosophers at dinner parties. They start judging people who do not live up to their new strict standards. This behavior is incredibly destructive. Epictetus warned his students heavily against this. He told them not to call themselves philosophers and not to talk about philosophical principles among people who do not care about them. His instruction was very clear. Do not explain your philosophy, embody it. If you have discovered a way to govern your temper, do not write a long post about it or lecture your family about anger management. Simply stop getting angry. Let your calm demeanor be the evidence of your study. If you have learned to be resilient in the face of hardship, do not brag about your mental toughness. Simply endure the hardship without complaining. When you talk incessantly about your self-improvement journey, you open yourself up to severe hypocrisy. The moment you slip up, the moment you lose your temper or break your discipline, the people you have been lecturing will be the first to point it out. They will eagerly highlight your failure. By keeping your philosophical practices to yourself, you give yourself the grace to fail and recover in private. You are undertaking this journey to improve your own character, not to win an argument or prove your intellectual superiority to others. Your internal growth is a deeply personal operation. Keep the mechanics of it to yourself and let your improved character be the only proof that the work is getting done. The fifth secret you must lock away is the intimate details of your relationships. Whether it is your marriage, your romantic partnerships, or your deeply trusted friendships, the inner workings of these bonds must remain entirely private. In modern society, people frequently run to their broader friend groups, or worse, the internet, to vent about every argument, every minor disagreement, and every flaw in their partners. This is a severe violation of trust and a sign of profound social weakness. The Roman philosopher Seneca wrote beautiful letters regarding the nature of trust and friendship. He believed that true friendship is a sacred space. He advised that you should take great care in choosing who you trust, but once you have chosen to trust someone, you should trust them exactly as you trust yourself. This level of trust requires an ironclad perimeter. When a partner or a close friend reveals a vulnerability to you, or when you share a difficult moment together behind closed doors, that information is given to you in confidence. It is a test of your character. If you take their private moments and share them with outsiders, even if you think you are just asking for advice, you are dismantling the foundation of the relationship. You are inviting the chaotic, uninvested opinions of the world into a space that requires total security. Outsiders will judge your partner based on the one negative story you told them, completely ignoring the thousands of good moments they have never seen. They will offer advice based on their own biases and failed relationships. A true Stoic understands the boundaries of loyalty. If you have an issue with someone close to you, you resolve it with that person directly, face to face. You do not triangulate. You do not seek outside validation. You protect the dignity of the people you love by keeping the complex realities of your relationship entirely out of the public eye. The sixth secret that demands your absolute silence is your exact financial status and your material wealth. It does not matter if you are incredibly wealthy or currently struggling to make ends meet. The specific numbers in your bank account are nobody else's business. Money is one of the most dangerous subjects you can discuss openly, because it instantly alters the way people perceive you and interact with you. It corrupts the purity of human interaction. If you complain constantly about your lack of money, you will be viewed with pity. People may begin to distance themselves from you, fearing you will ask for a loan or expecting you to drag them into your financial anxiety. On the other end of the spectrum, if you loudly display your wealth, if you talk about your massive investments, your expensive purchases, or your rising income, you invite something far more destructive: envy. Envy is a quiet, poisonous emotion. When you broadcast your financial success, people who are struggling will silently resent you. People with bad intentions will begin to view you as a resource to be exploited. Friends may suddenly expect you to cover the bill every time. Family members may come to you with endless financial emergencies. Seneca understood the complicated dynamic of wealth better than almost anyone in history. He was one of the wealthiest men in the entire Roman Empire. He had vast estates, immense power, and resources that most people could not comprehend. Yet, he frequently practiced poverty. He would spend days wearing cheap clothing, eating the most basic food, and living as if he had lost everything. He did this to prove to himself that he was not a slave to his money. He understood that true wealth is internal freedom, not external display. While he did not hide his status entirely, he knew the dangers of letting his wealth define him. He knew that the moment you make money the center of your public identity, you attract the absolute worst kind of people. Keep your finances entirely to yourself. Build your wealth quietly. Secure your future in silence. Whether you drive an old car or own multiple properties, let your character, your intelligence, and your kindness be the only things people truly know about you. The seventh and perhaps most critical secret you must never reveal carelessly is the nature of your core fears and deepest vulnerabilities. Everyone has psychological weak points. Everyone has specific anxieties, deep-seated insecurities, and fears that keep them awake in the darkest hours of the night. It is incredibly important to confront these fears, to understand them, and to work through them. However, broadcasting these vulnerabilities to the general public or to people who have not absolutely proven their unwavering loyalty is a catastrophic mistake. When you tell the world exactly what terrifies you, you are handing out the blueprints to your destruction. In the realm of social intelligence and human behavioral dynamics, there are individuals who actively look for weaknesses to exploit. If an unscrupulous person knows that you have a deep fear of abandonment, they will use the threat of leaving to manipulate your actions. If they know you are deeply insecure about your intelligence, they will use subtle, cutting remarks to keep you off balance. By keeping your deepest fears to yourself, you deprive manipulative people of the ammunition they need to control you. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself that his mind was an unassailable fortress. He called it the inner citadel. He knew that the external world was full of chaos, treachery, and people acting out of selfish ambition. His defense mechanism was not to attack the world, but to fortify his own mind. He knew that true vulnerability should only be shared in two places: within the absolute privacy of his own journal, where he wrestled with his demons honestly, and perhaps with a trusted, proven mentor. There is a false narrative today that vulnerability is always a strength, and that you must bleed your traumas onto the public stage to be authentic. This is fundamentally untrue and incredibly dangerous. True strength is acknowledging your fears internally, working relentlessly to conquer them, and presenting a calm, unshakable front to the rest of the world. You do not need to pretend to be perfect, but you must realize that your deepest insecurities are your most private property. Do not hand them over to a world that will not treat them with the respect they deserve. To walk the path of the Stoic is to walk a path of disciplined restraint. It is the realization that your energy is your most valuable currency, and every unnecessary word you speak is a leak in your energy supply. When you stop talking about your grand goals, you suddenly have the energy to actually execute them. When you stop seeking praise for your good deeds, you discover the pure, quiet joy of genuine virtue. When you stop obsessing over those who have wronged you, you reclaim your mental peace and leave your enemies fighting ghosts. When you embody your philosophy rather than preaching it, you become a living example of strength that others naturally want to follow. When you lock the doors to your relationships and protect them from outside opinions, you build unbreakable bonds of trust. When you keep your financial status a mystery, you protect yourself from envy and exploitation, interacting with people based on character rather than currency. And when you guard your deepest fears, keeping them safe within the walls of your inner citadel, you ensure that no external force can ever truly break you. The world will constantly try to draw you out. It will ask for your opinion on things that do not matter. It will tempt you to brag, to complain, to overshare, and to explain yourself. You must resist this gravitational pull. Let the crowd make the noise. Let the masses argue, boast, and reveal every card in their hand. You must choose a different way. Keep these 7 secrets locked away. Cultivate a rich, powerful, and entirely private inner life. Speak less, observe more, act decisively, and let your absolute silence become your ultimate power.